What is up, everyone? Tosh here with Crypto with Tosh, here for another update with DeFi Kingdoms. Today we are going to talk about Jewel strategy and what to do. Before we get started, I just want to thank everyone for coming to the live stream. It was so much fun to hang out with you guys and can't wait to do another one. You guys asked some great questions, was super fun, loved all the interaction, and thank you for all the support to the channel. I am still just amazed with how quickly everything is growing. It's all because of you guys and how awesome you are. So I'll look to give back to this community as much as I can. If you're interested in getting the latest and greatest DeFi Kingdoms content, like we saw in our giveaway the other day, please make sure to like and subscribe the videos below. Your support means everything to me. Thank you so much who has given me that so far. And one final reminder is that nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice. Always do your own research and make sure you only risk what you are able to lose because we are in a volatile market. Well, let's get on to the main content for today. So we're going to talk about Jewel strategies. So first of all, before we can even come up with a strategy, we have to look at what is your goal. We have to think about, are you in this game for the long term? Are you here for the short term? Also, how much are you able to invest in this game is a pretty important factor about what your strategy should be. And also think about if you want to play the game, if you're looking to spend Jewel on the resources and the things that you can get with Jewel tokens. And once you figure that out, then you can dive into the strategies that are possible. Let's talk about our first strategy here. This one is going to be the lounge in the pool strategy. I define this as being more than 75% of your DeFi Kingdoms capital is in the pool and 25% or less of that is in the bank. Let's talk about some of the advantages and disadvantages of this strategy. So first of all, this capitalizes on huge rewards. Last week, most of us were getting 20,000% in that Harmony Jewel pool. It has been 3/4, so now we're down to 15,000% on that. But I mean, who can really complain about 15,000% APR? Still very impressive. And it's something that we can't ignore about this game is that these pools can generate a ton of Jewel token, and as those get more circulated into the environment, it can have a pretty big factor on the economy. And if you want to be ahead in that long-term game, then maybe the lounge in the pool strategy is right for you. In addition, this is a really great strategy for our smaller investors that are looking to play the game because without very much money, they can start accruing these rewards at these insane rates, and then it can turn into a reasonable sum over a decent amount of time. So if you're like a little bum, you're like, oh, I've only got like 200 or 300 Jewel token. I'm not sure if I'll be able to buy Gen 0 heroes or meet some other outcomes. Maybe if you go heavy in the pool, then as your coins start to unlock, then you can have enough Jewel token to afford some of those later generations so you can get involved in the game and still be ahead of some of the people that are joining the game later on. Let's go over the downsides of the lounge and the pool strategy. It's not all fun and games over here. So the biggest downside is that you miss out on the bank and you're potentially missing out on X Jewel rewards. We have a vote going on right now for what should happen to the Gen 0 hero cost. So if you have X Jewel tokens in the bank, you can use those tokens to have heavier weight in those kind of votes. I know a lot of people are pretty passionate about some choices right now. I'm confident that the DeFi Kingdoms leadership will make the right choices that benefit the community the most, and we'll see what happens with this vote. It should be pretty interesting, but I am not worried. And with the X Jewel too, you also miss out on those slow, steady increases. Remember, the X Jewel ratio never goes down, so you'll always have more Jewel tokens than you deposited when you put them into the bank. And also with X Jewel rewards, you get those cuts from the sales and transactions. So like in the Gen 0 Heroes sale, I did a little bit of math, and if we do end up getting the 4 million tokens sold, we might see an increase of about 0.08 to 0.09 on that X Jewel multiplier. So basically what that means is take your X Jewel number times that by 0.08, and that's how many Jewel you will get for free when the Gen 0 heroes are sold. So that's a pretty significant amount if you're missing out on that bank. Some additional downsides of this is that you have lots of lock jewel, so you may have some whales that have a difficult time unlocking this if you have too much in the pool, because I think it hasn't been revealed about the hero mechanics yet, but I think they will be unlocking jewel at like a steady rate, so not necessarily a percentage of your locked amount, because that could be pretty unfair advantage for our whales, but we'll see what those mechanics look like. If you have any thoughts on that, make sure to drop them in the comments below. In addition, with our liquidity pools, we may have those withdrawal fees. If you want to kind of move your assets around in not very much time, you can get some pretty nasty withdrawal fees, so careful about that. That discourages our short-term investors with the lounge and the pool strategy. Kind of have to go full into the pool if that is your strategy. And additionally, you suffer that impermanent loss. So you can lose a lot of jewel if jewel price keeps to climb, and we don't really see the Harmony 1 climb with that coin too, or whatever counter pool that you're in. So careful about that. And if you want to learn more about impermanent loss, check out my video below. I'll have it in the description. The next strategy that we'll talk about is the 50-50 split strategy. So we've talked about kind of the advantages of pool versus bank, and this is kind of to capitalize on them both. I think this is a great strategy for the mid-range investor who wants to play the game, but also like wants to make some of that big money in the back. And I mean, one day that jewel, once you unlock it, could be worth a pretty significant amount still. So I bet lots of people are excited to get that unlocked, and will try to get the heroes to unlock their jewel pretty quickly so they can access those funds and make them a little bit more liquid to invest in the game in however way they see fit rather. And depending on your investment level, if you take this strategy, this may cut you off from some of the purchases or the screenshot requirements. So if you're kind of like right on that 5k X jewel mark or that 10k X jewel mark, you may miss out if you do have that 50-50 split. In addition, if you're looking to spend money on heroes and you're kind of a lower stack, that can prevent you from buying those heroes. So if you're kind of in that mid-range, I think it's a pretty good way to invest your money. So if you have about like maybe 3 to 5k into this game, and that's in US dollars, I think that might be a good strategy for you, so you can capitalize on the best of both worlds, but also make sure that you're hitting those benchmarks that you want. So if you're like, I really want to buy a Gen 0 hero, make sure you have enough into the bank or into mobile funds that you can actually spend those on. The last strategy we'll talk about is the bank chad. So I define this as like having more than 75% of your jewel in the bank. This is kind of where I've moved my strategy. So I'm about right now 70-30 on this. So I'm almost at that bank chad mark. Let's talk about some of the advantages and disadvantages of this strategy. So your jewel amount is always steadily increasing, which is awesome when you're an X jewel holder. That's due to that, again, that X jewel multiplier. This increases by absorbing some transactions, and then whenever you hit that claim button, the program will automatically buy jewel and put it into the bank with those extra funds. So that multiplier is always increasing, and if you take jewel out, you're just kind of like taking it at that same rate. So you're not affecting the multiplier at all by withdrawing your jewel from the bank. So multiplier always going up, huge for the bank holders, and we've seen that go up maybe about 0.5 to 1% per day in the most recent days to get an accurate evaluation of that, which is pretty big. That interest is awesome. Another thing that is great about being the bank chat is that there is no withdrawal fees from the bank, so you can withdraw those jewel at any time. You can use those for the sales, and you can stock up for those snapshots that hit. Remember, guys, there's also, in addition to the 5k snapshot that just got taken for the Gen 0 heroes, Frisky has announced some secret snapshots. So that might even be have a lower limit for X jewel holders too. So that'd be really cool if there was a snapshot for people that had maybe like 1k or 2.5k X jewel in the bank instead of reaching that 5k mark. Be a little bit more inclusive, and this community has already been preaching inclusiveness, so I have faith in the devs that they're going to make decisions that keep that in mind as we move forward. One disadvantage to this is that if you are a bank Chad, you don't necessarily reap those benefits on the pools, and that's kind of like why I'm like right on the border being a bank Chad. I really like the benefits from the pools. I claim a ton of Jewel every day, even more Jewel every week. It's pretty awesome to watch that number climb every day. I like that, so I'm definitely gonna keep some in the pools and sustain that lock Jewel amount over time too. Lastly, let's talk about something that's going to be helpful no matter which strategy that you're taking. So this is the question: to compound or not to compound your pool rewards? That is the question. Anyway, so when you claim your rewards, our claim rate, it changes over time. So where we're at with our blocks currently, we are at 9%. So that means when you claim your rewards, 91% is going to get locked into that locked account, and now 9% is going to go into your current Jewel pool that you can use whatever. So should you compound that, and where should you compound that? Well, let's go over a couple of the things to consider. First of all is that if you are recompounding into the liquidity pools, what it will do is actually claim all of the Jewel that you already have locked. So you can view the white paper to see percentages and where we're at. Right now, if you claim 9% of your Jewel will go into Jewel that you can mess around with at any time, and 91% of that will go into locked Jewel. If you wait a longer period of time, then you can actually access more of that. So in about 1 week, this is actually contingent on where the blocks are, depending on the speed of the Harmony network. So in about 1 week or so, it will actually move where we're going to see 11% of that bit be unlocked. So a good strategy is that if we're kind of close to that change, then it's okay to recompound that. But if you want to, if you're kind of close to where it is going to change, it might be a good strategy to hold on to some of that Jewel and not claim or recompound it into it right away. So you can access that extra 2% to claim, and that may reap the benefits of both worlds there, where you're getting the claim of maybe the first 5 days of the cycle, then it's compounding up and you're getting a larger stake of that last 2 days. If you claim and then you stack it in the bank, what's really nice is that you're still reaping all the benefits of that. You're getting your X Jewel. You know your Jewel token is safe. No matter what happens to the Jewel price, you are always benefiting from that. You're getting more Jewel tokens. We're in the liquidity pools. If you are recompounding that, you still face that risk of impermanent loss, which can result in a pretty significant amount of Jewel lost. Not necessarily value loss, but your Jewel will go down overall in the pools sometimes. Well, this video is getting long enough already. Let's start wrapping it up. I'm really curious, what strategy are you going to take? So are you using the lounge in the pool strategy? Are you using the 50-50 split? Or are you a bank Chad? Right now, I'm on team bank Chad, so let's go. I'm curious where you are at. Let's see that in the comments. Thank you again so much for all of your support. If you enjoyed this content, stay tuned and subscribe so you can get the latest on the DeFi Kingdoms content, the most up-to-date cool stuff. And then for the rest of y'all, I hope to do another giveaway soon. Maybe when we hit 500 subscribers, we can get another giveaway going. And I mean, at the rate that this channel is climbing, maybe that'll happen in the next couple of days. Who knows? Your support can definitely push that along, and I am really excited to see what this happens with the channel. Thanks so much for joining me on this ride here. All right, this is Crypto with Tosh signing off here. Have a good one.